Hey there, amazing viewers. Welcome back to our YouTube channel where we bring you your favorite manhwa recaps. Did you know that more than 90% of our viewers have not subscribed yet? So please, if you're enjoying our videos and want to be part of our awesome community, now is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. Joining our subscriber family means you'll never miss out on any of our exciting content. So, take a quick second to click that big red subscribe button below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay notified whenever we release a new video. Enjoy watching and stay awesome.
Xia Tian's father called him sounding so urgent that day. He gave his son a necklace which was left by his mother for him. He also told him that necklace is to be worn whenever he encounters a crisis or a major change in his body. Xia Tian looked at the necklace on his neck and asked his father who his mother is. Then all of a sudden, his father disappeared. He kept on calling him for some time, but he did not answer. In the present day, Xia Tian was tearing up. Then he woke up. It was a memory. He was actually in a hospital and he has bandages all over his body. As soon as he got his senses back, he asked himself what was wrong with him. Suddenly, a nurse in an alluring outfit came in. She noticed that the patient has finally woken up. All of a sudden, Xia Tian's nose was gushing blood that scared the hell out of the nurse. The nurse asked him what he was doing. He scared her. Xia Tian answered that he was just a little bit confused and he also has some hallucinations. After that, the nurse asked him to quickly lay down for he has suffered a lot. Waking up is already a miracle in his current situation. However, Xia Tian doesn't remember what happened to him. So, the nurse told him what happened. He saved a little girl and almost got him run over. Right at that moment, his memories quickly came back. He then asked if the kid he saved is all right now. Subsequently, the mother of the kid came in and she told them that her daughter is fine now. The lady is sparkling with beauty and she also brought some flowers with her. Her legs are also very noticeable because of their length. As a result, Xia Tian's nose gushes out a lot of blood once again. The lady asked him what is wrong. And once again, Xia Tian told her that he is just fine, but he has been seeing hallucinations from the aftermath. However, the lady misunderstood what he said. She thought that he was trying to blackmail her, and so she promised him that she will give him enough money as compensation. Xia Tian asked her if she really thought he would lie like that for money. She did not answer his question. As a response, she asked him back if 1 million is enough for him. Xia Tian did not answer and so she increased her offer to 2 million this time. Because of that, Xia Tian got angry and told her that he did it for himself and not for money or anything. He wanted to get off the bed out of anger. He was about to get out of the room when the lady, once again, increased her offer. She raised it to 5 million this time. Without a doubt, he told her that he doesn't want any amount of money because that kid's life can't be compared with money. For that reason, the lady could not speak anymore. He then slammed the door loudly, and then he continued his way into the hallway. While walking, he was talking to himself. He just could not believe that there are parents like that. All of a sudden, a little girl blocked his way. The kid asked him if he was the one who saved her from getting hit by a car. Xia Tian looked at her, then the kid smiled all over her ears before she thanked him for what he did. He replied to her that he has no regret for saving her, and that she is so welcome. The nurse who followed Xia Tian outside smiled too after overhearing the conversation between the two. Just as he noticed the nurse behind him, he turned his back and told her he needs a favor. The nurse then asked what it is. It turns out, Xia Tian wants to borrow $100 since he doesn't have any money to go home. The nurse thought that he was a rich kid after rejecting the 5 million offer earlier, but it seems like he was just a poor student. She then gave him the $100 he asked for, and then he promised her that he will find a chance to pay her back soon. However, the nurse rejects his idea, and so Xia Tian leaves after taking the money. The kid he saved was also there when he left. The nurse thought that he is such a mysterious person. With the money he owed from the nurse, he was able to get home. He quickly opens the door as soon as he got it, and then he called for somebody inside. However, there was no response, so there must be no one home at that time, which is way better for him. He then went into his room to find the thing he has been hiding for years now. His father told him to only wear it the moment he encounters a major crisis or experience a major change in his body. He then slowly opened the box where the necklace is hidden. He thought that it was the right time for him to wear it since he has suffered heavy injury and somehow have an X-ray vision. He then calls for his father and told him that his son will now finally be wearing the necklace he left for him. The necklace suddenly started to light up as soon as he wore it. He slowly closed his eyes as if he let the necklace take him somewhere else. Meanwhile, there is a woman taking a bath. She has long blonde hair. After a few minutes, Xia Tian gained back his consciousness. He then wondered why he suddenly fell asleep. When he looked at the necklace, the shine it emits earlier was gone. He was wondering what was really happening. He also noticed that his wounds are gone. But that's not all, he is also shedding skin. He noticed that there are a lot of shredded skin on the bandage he removed. He wonders if this was all the effect of wearing the necklace. After some time, he felt gross that he wanted to take a shower first. Meanwhile, the woman who was taking a shower earlier has finished taking a shower. She fixes the towel that she covered on her body to make it more secure. After fixing it, she then opened the door of the bathroom. When she opened the door, she discovered that some boy was already half naked outside. Xia and the woman stared at each other for a moment as if they became temporarily frozen. After realizing it, the woman screamed out and covered herself with her arms. Unlike the woman, Xia stayed calm and asked the lady if she was Cartoon Bear. All of a sudden, another woman entered inside who was screaming as she was asking what is wrong. The second woman who arrived was actually Xia's cousin. She thought that Xia deserves a lesson, and so she spanked him in the face, which immediately turned red because of its intensity. She then asked him where has he been for the last 2 days when he was nowhere to be found. They can't even contact his phone. He was confused, and so he asked her what day is it today. It's the 16th, she said casually. Just at that moment, he realized that it has been 2 days since he lost consciousness after wearing the necklace. She also told him that it has been 2 days, and the first thing he did was to offend her friend as soon as they met. However, he insisted that he was innocent since she was covered tightly, so he didn't see anything. The girl who accused Xia then thought that she was indeed covered, but she wondered how did he know about Cartoon Bear. She then turned red out of embarrassment. She also told Xia's cousin that her cousin is such a weird kid. At the park that day, Xia was doing some exercises. He was specifically doing chin-ups at that moment. At a distance, a middle-aged man was watching him do his exercises. Xia thinks that his body now feels much lighter after what happened. Everything is effortless. All of a sudden, the man went towards him and told him that his physical fitness is pretty good. He even thought that Xia was a soldier before because of that. Xia told him that he was wrong about that. He also told the man that he was just 19 years old. The man then asked him to have a sparring with him. Xia almost laughed at the man and told him that there is no need for that since he is a senior. The man thought that Xia did not agree to sparring because he was scared of injuring a senior like him, so he kicked a chair towards him just to show that he should not underestimate him. After seeing what the man did, Xia's jaw dropped. The man then asked him to make a move now. Xia now realizes that this man might be the legendary martial arts master and he doesn't want to miss this opportunity, and so he asked him to enlighten him. The man was delighted that Xia was not arrogant or impetuous like the others. Xia threw a punch at the man, but he was able to dodge it so easily. The man grabbed Xia's arm and then he twisted it. Luckily, he was able to get away from him. He was fortunate enough that his body became so much lighter. The man just laughed at him, but he commended his skill. He then urges Xia to make another move. All of a sudden, Xia saw something around the man. He can also see his attack path. With that in mind, he thought that he has a higher chance to win their duel. He quickly rushed towards the man for his second attack, thinking that it will finally finish him. However, the man predicted his move and managed to stop it using one hand. Even though he stopped Xia, he was still shocked that he was suddenly able to find his flaw. The sparring continues. The man was amazed by Xia, knowing that he never had any martial arts training, but every punch he throws targets his weak points. After a few more punches, the man asked Xia to stop. He was exhausted already when he told him his last name, which is Fan. Xia also told him his name. Meanwhile, the man told him how was he able to break his Tai Chi. Xia answered that he was just lucky to do it by accident. The man then invited him to come and find him at the Green Forest Villa whenever he has the opportunity. Xia thanked Mr. Fan for his kind offer and gave him a salute. Subsequently, Mr. Fan said goodbye to him. At the moment, Xia was at school. There are still 12 days until the college entrance exam. He needs to run the final sprint. While walking in the hallway, he came across a girl named Wenjing. She seemed to be startled as if she wasn't expecting Xia to be there. She thought that something must have happened to him since he didn't show up for a few days at school. Xia then asked her if she thought he took his own life just because he was dumped by her. It turns out that Wenjing didn't really want to dump him. All of a sudden, another student came in and brought a French breakfast for Wenjing with him. His name is Xia Tian, and Wenjing thanked him for that. Xia Tian noticed Xia. He also thought that he took his own life because of Wenjing. She felt uneasy because of him, so she asked him to stop. But he wasn't finished yet. He came closer to Xia and made him hear the words he is going to say. He was just a nerd who can't even keep his girlfriend, so there is no use in studying well. Because of that, Xia grew angry. But before he even do a thing, a girl showed up and dared Xia Tian to leave her class immediately. Her name is Fire Pepper. The two of them were supposed to not bother each other, so he was wondering why she was acting like that now. Fire Pepper answered just because she was nosy. Clearly, she can do anything she wants. She was standing between Xiaxin and Sheikong all this time. Xiaxin called her to say something. She turned around to face him, and then she told him that there was no need to thank her. He is in her class, so she will cover for him. But that was not the reason why he called her. She was actually stepping on his foot all this time. Fire Pepper just realized that now, and so she quickly moved her foot away from Xiaxin's. Fire Pepper got furious about that. How dare he say that when she was standing up for him, she said. She then threatened him. He said that she would beat him up, and her sisters were willing to do it for her. Just in time, the teacher arrived. They will do a mock exam that day. However, Fire Pepper seemed like she doesn't care about the teacher and just walked towards the door. Her sisters followed her to go out. The teacher then tried to stop them, but Fire Pepper was such a nosy kid. She then ordered her two sisters to back in to take the exam and warned them to not take her last place. Then she walked out of the room despite her teacher being so angry. Xiaxin sighed seeing how Fire Pepper misbehaves. After the scene with the girl is over, the teacher then distributed the test paper to the students. Just like earlier with the martial arts legend, Xiaxin seems to have another hint in life because he was able to see the answers to the test in his head just by looking at the questions. After a few minutes, he went to the teacher to pass the test paper he already answered. And because of how fast he finished it, the teacher thinks that he just guessed the answers in it. But Xiaxin made sure to his teacher that he answered the exam seriously, and he asked him if he can take the next subject then. Outside the classroom, Fire Pepper was leaning on a tree. After some time, she saw her sisters rushing towards her, and behind them is Xiaxin. She asked her sisters what was wrong with him. Why was he able to finish the exam before them, she asked. After a few minutes, a group of students went towards Xiaxin. The girls were certain that those guys will bother Xiaxin, but Fire Pepper ordered her sister to stay still first before helping him. She thinks that Xiaxin deserves to suffer a little bit. Sheikong was one of those guys. He started to humiliate Xiaxin by saying he never got to touch Wenya. However, Xiaxin wasn't bothered by that. He just told him that they can do whatever they want and he doesn't have to tell him those things. Sheikong wasn't finished yet. He continued to bother him with insults. He told him that he hates it the most when someone thinks about his playthings. And today he will give Xiaxin a lasting impression. In the spur of the moment, Xiaxin has already planned his moves for Sheikong. It seems like he was embodying the legendary martial arts master he fought earlier. Quickly, he rushed toward a man and threw an uppercut punch for him. Because of how strong the attack was, the man spit some saliva and he was thrown away. The other guys, Sheikong and Fire Pepper, were all shocked to see how quick and strong he was. The guy crashed on the ground due to Xiaxin's attack. Sheikong wasn't able to do anything to keep his brother from getting hurt because Xiaxin was too fast. One of the guys clenched his fist to show he was ready for a fight because of what his brother suffered. On the other hand, Xiaxin is way more ready than any of them. In just one look, he knew how to defeat them all in a very swift manner. He attacked them one by one, leaving everyone knocked out on the ground aside from Sheikong. The other students noticed the fight. Some were puzzled to see that Xiaxin, who is a top student in his class, dared to hit Sheikong's people. Fire Pepper's sisters were also amazed by how quickly he defeated all of them. But Fire Pepper herself is much happier. She planned to have a lesson with Xiaxin in order to make her dream to be a heroine come true. Shaking, Sheikong asked Xiaxin what was he trying to do when he went closer to him. Xiaxin answered coldly. He warned him to be careful with diarrhea when he came back. But instead of being enlightened, Sheikong just became more confused about what Xiaxin was planning to do. Before leaving, Xiaxin gave his final warning to Sheikong, which is to never offend nor even see him again or he will suffer for sure. Fire Pepper then called on Xiaxin as he walks away. Xiaxin looked back to face her, but she suddenly felt uneasy. She begged Xiaxin to teach her martial arts, but Xiaxin refused because he doesn't know anything about martial arts. All of a sudden, she started yelling while clinging onto Xiaxin's arm. She did not believe what he said since she saw how he managed to knock all those guys. However, Xiaxin was just copying what he saw from Mr. Fan. It seems like Xiaxin has got everybody's attention now after what he has done with Sheikong's goons. Meanwhile, Mr. Fan is about to have his tea when one of his people came into the room for a piece of news. It's all checked out, he said. He then started to tell Mr. Fan details about Xiaxin, from his personal data to his heroic saving of Zheng Ru, the chairman of the Zheng family. But it wasn't enough. Mr. Fan wants to know anything about his parents, but the man wasn't able to find any because it was all encrypted. For that reason, their permissions were not enough. Having that information to be encrypted just made Mr. Fan more curious about it. Mr. Fan also asked about the latest movement there in Quicksand, who also seems to have noticed him, but those people are after a certain thing, not his life. Mr. Fan thinks that Jianhai City is not peaceful lately, and he will leave here too. He then told the man that they should stay behind to protect Xiao Feng and the others no matter the cost. But the man told Mr. Fan that the young master is very sensitive to them. For that reason, Mr. Fan then asked him to protect him, his son, from a distance. Meanwhile, in the #1 assassin organization in Jianghai City, Quicksand, a man asked another person whom he called Lord Hidden Bat, when are they going to strike? Lord Hidden Bat answered that now is not the time yet, but they can strike as soon as they find the secret scrolls. He also ordered the man to keep an eye out for that kid, and he also ordered him to take out anyone else who gets close to him. At the same time, the plant started to desiccate after Lord Hidden Bat touched it. At the pedestrian street, Fire Pepper ran toward Xiaoshan, who was on the other side of the road. She even called him her master and asked him when will he teach her martial arts. Xiaoshan then told her that he is not her master and he only knows those 2 moves which he has to pass on to his future wife and children. Because of that, Fire Pepper then voluntarily offered herself to Xiaoshan. She wanted Xiaoshan to take her as his wife. An offer made Xiaoshan shrink in awkwardness. To get rid of her, he told her that she doesn't have the body and looks and so he will not marry her. However, Fire Pepper still does not give up. She still insisted that he can just get used to her. All of a sudden, she saw a lottery and she invited Xiaoshan to have some. But Xiaoshan thinks it is foolish for her to do that since her family is very rich. She then told him that money doesn't matter, what important is the excitement playing with it brings. At last, she rushed to the storefront so excited to play. She was so cheerful that moment when she ordered some lottery tickets at the counter. But not until the man who was there before they came started talking. He told her that she was just wasting her family's money. Fire Pepper immediately became angry about that. All of a sudden, Xiaoshan went to her and told her that he will play with her if she wanted to play. The man then brags about the money he got, which is 50 yuan. But Xiaoshan got more than the amount he was bragging about. He actually got 800. He then asked the ticket seller to exchange those with cash, while Fire Pepper asked him to stop playing because he can run out of luck if he continued. The man knew that the lottery ticket sellers love customers like him who send the winning money back again. However, Xiaoshan was confident that he will still win no matter what. And as he expected, his luck doesn't run out. He got one much higher than earlier. The 3 of them could not believe how was he able to be that lucky. Fire Pepper still doesn't get over how great he played and she kept on begging him to teach her the tricks. Xiaoshan teased him for that. He told her that she was forcing him before to teach him martial arts, but she wanted to learn how to scrape lottery tickets now. After that, he called her cousin and told her that his phone broke down so he bought a new one. His cousin then invited him to come later at night. He immediately goes and gets a taxi after taking the call. Fire Pepper asked him where will he go. He did not answer her. He only told her that she should not follow her because he is doing something important. He then gets on the taxi and left Fire Pepper there without explaining his plan. Xiaoshan went to Antique Street that afternoon. The street was busy and full of people at that time. It turns out that it is his cousin's birthday tonight, and he was asked to pretend to be her boyfriend. He could not refuse her since he forgot her birthday, and for the time being, he seeks a present for her. All of a sudden, the master treasure hunter, Master Zhu Chuan, came, and the people make way for them quickly. The sellers there also greeted Master Zhu as he passes their stores. Xiaoshan thinks that there are still some good things there as long as he has his 2 eyes. He gazed around the treasures scattered everywhere to find something fine and not that expensive. At last, something caught his attention. The thing was way more shinier than the other treasure there. He then went quickly to the store to ask the owner about that one blocking the path of Master Zhu. Master Zhu's bodyguards wanted to teach Xiaoshan a lesson, but Master Zhu stopped them. Xiaoshan then asked how much that piece of jade was. The owner told him it is sold for 8 only. Having a little money, he told the owner that it was too expensive for a student like him. Master Zhu was just observing him, but he was thinking of rescuing him when he has to pay. The owner noticed that Master Zhu was watching them and he was a little anxious that he might expose him at that moment. All of a sudden, Xiaoshan whispered to the store owner that he might be able to buy it if it is sold in 200 cents since he knew it is fake. The owner commends him for having a sharp eye, but he insisted that that jade is not sold for less than 500 cents. Xiaoshan then made a deal. He told him that he will take the other worthless stones at that price. In the end, the owner agreed to his deal. Master Zhu was amazed by how good Xiaoshan was at bargaining. However, the owner was still happy knowing that the deal was in favor of him than Xiaoshan. All of a sudden, Master Zhu told Xiaoshan that that piece of jade is actually worth about 20 cents only those inexperienced will buy it at 500. Zaishan showed the jade to Master Zhu and expressed his shock in a very sarcastic manner. After a few seconds, he dropped the jade from his hand. The pieces of jade scattered everywhere as it crashed into the ground, which made Master Zhu feel uneasy. The piece of jade Zaishan bought was completely scattered on the ground. Master Zhu then realized that Zaishan knew all along that it was fake. Zaishan replied to him saying that even a child with a big mouth has eyesight. Without the seller knowing, what Zaishan really wants is already in his hand. It was the relics of the Buddha's bones that coalesced when the monk passed away. He never really thought that he could actually get one of these. The Zhu family's assets are now in the hands of Master Zhu's nephew, Zhu Qinghua, and he has been looking for a talent to recapture the family's assets. He's thinking of recruiting Zaishan. He thinks that he is a rare talent. Master Zhu then calls Zaishan's attention before he finally leaves. He then invited him to have a competition with him. Zaishan then asked what competition will it be. The person seeing them clearly knew the kid is ignorant of what Master Zhu does. Of course, it will be a competition for treasure appraisal, they said. Zaishan agreed to the competition even though Master Zhu is a professional treasure appraiser on that street for the fact that he might get what he wants if he wins. Master Zhu burst into laughter because Zaishan also mentioned that he can have his life if he loses. However, Master Zhu has no internet for his life. He then makes his own bet. If Zaishan loses, he has to play for Master Zhu from now on. Zaishan agreed to his terms without a doubt. The people started gathering after realizing that there will be a competition of appraisal with Master Zhu. Zaishan has to identify the real antiques out of the 5 items on the table for him to win. The 5 items are laid on the table, and they all look real for normal eyesight. Zaishan then started to act like an arrogant kid again. On the other hand, Master Zhu was confident that he won't get the real things from the fake ones. The people watching also thought that Zaishan was too arrogant. Zaishan started to identify things. First, he raised the chest and told Master Zhu that it is one of the real ones. Master Zhu then proved him right by saying that that is a dressing box used by the Dowager Cixi in the Qing dynasty. All of a sudden, Zaishan asked Master Zhu if it is okay for him to damage something if he find a forgery in the items. Master Zhu then agreed since he can afford to pay those that he will break. In a spur of a moment, he carelessly threw the porcelain vase away. The people were shocked at what he has just done since the vase seems so real to them. Zaishan picked up a piece of the broken vase on the ground and then showed the writing on it to Master Zhu. Written there is the name of the master forger Fang Quixi. Master Zhu wondered how was he able to know about the handwriting when it is inside the vase. Zaishan arrogantly answered that it is because of his eyesight. Next, he breaks the plate on the table, then the blue stone. Master Zhu immediately stopped him from breaking the items, saying that he already won. He then asked for what he wanted as his prize. Zaishan took a nice bracelet and told him that he wants it. But that bracelet is a small object that Master Zhu put in it to confuse the eyes. All of a sudden, Zaishan bit his thumb. He put a drop of blood in the bracelet, and it turned red. It turns out that that bracelet is actually a blood jade stone. After the discovery, people started to have an interest in that bracelet. One even offered him 2 million, but Zaishan told them that it is not for sale. After that, Zaishan left. He was walking on the street when someone called him. He turned around to face who called him. It was Master Zhu again. He then offered friendship to Zaishan as if he has ulterior motives with this offer. Zaishan agreed to be friends with Master Zhu because he has to build up his network. Master Zhu asked for his name. He then told him his name is Summer. At that very moment, a car stopped beside them and then a man in very formal clothes get off it. "You're Summer, right?" he asked Zaishan. A few moments ago, in the Jianghai City Hospital, Xia Kong was suffering great pain. He was even shivering. Xia Kong was in the bathroom and there are people outside waiting for him. Someone asked Director Lai about the results, but he said that they haven't examined Xia Kong yet because he can't last a minute with them. They did have a stool test and the result shows that they can exclude drug factors. A bodyguard also informed the master that Xia Kong had a conflict with a student named Summer earlier. That student also warned him about diarrhea, so it must be him who did it. It turns out that the person who gets off from the car is San, the one sent by the master who was dealing with Xia Kong's diarrhea. He ordered Summer to come with them. Summer asked him who are they. Master Zhu warned Summer to be careful because San is Zhu Xiaohua's personal bodyguard and he is a very powerful person. San also warned Master Zhu that he will be fine as long as he doesn't interfere with them. It turns out that the people who sent San was Master Zhu's relatives. Master Zhu warned San and his goon that they could not touch the kid with him there since he is his friend. Master Zhu's bodyguards then surrounded Summer to keep those guys to go near him. All of a sudden, San started to beat the bodyguards who surrounded Summer. Master Zhu warned him not to rely on Zhu Qinghua to back him up, so he must be wary of his actions. After beating all the bodyguards, he then ordered his goons to take Summer away. Little did they know, Summer was already behind them. He then grabbed the guys by their shoulders and then pulled them forcefully so that they crashed to the ground. San and Master Zhu were both shocked by how Summer just easily defeated those guys. He then started to scare San away since he sensed that San's level is unusual. However, San wasn't swayed by him. He commended Summer's fighting skills, but unfortunately, he is a bit young for him. At that moment, San also took the opportunity to ask Summer about his relationship with Jan Chufang. Summer did not answer and just continued to tease San to fight with him. And since Summer is being so insistent, San then told him to not blame him if he will be ruthless with him. This is not what he wanted to happen, but since the matter is up, he has no other choice but to fight with him whether he has a chance or none. All of a sudden, guys in traditional Chinese clothes and masks came to interfere with them. San immediately recognized the guys. They are members of Quicksand. And since he already knows who they are, they then asked San to get out of there since they have an important business with the guy named Summer. However, San doesn't want to give Summer up that easily since his boss ordered him to take him. He then urged Quicksand that they should offer him a price which they immediately refused. San carefully thinks about what he would do. He can't afford to fight them since they are the people of the assassin organization. With that in mind, he conceded to them and let them take Summer away. Before leaving, he kicked his guys to wake them up while Summer was wondering why Quicksand did not even dare to mess with San and why would they help him out. The members of Quicksand immediately go near Summer after dealing with San. Summer was definitely confused about why those people were after him. They then told him that they only want one thing. It is the relic that his father left to him. Summer wondered what relic must they be talking about that his father left him. Quicksand told him that there is a scroll in his father's belongings and he has 7 days to find and give it to them or else he won't like what they will do. However, Summer could not remember the scroll that they were talking about. How would he find it if he can't remember if he really left it to him? Well, that is not Quicksand's problem. He has to find it at all cost or he will die 100 times over. Summer told them again that he doesn't know where to find it. He then asked them to tell him exactly where it is placed. Master Zhu comforted Summer after noticing this something is troubling him. He asked him what those people want with him. Summer smiled back at the old man saying they must have mistaken him for someone else so there is nothing to worry about. That night, Summer's cousin invited a lot of guests to celebrate her birthday party. She was wearing a very classy dress that showcased her fine body. She was thanking everyone who attended that moment. All of a sudden, a man in very nice clothing came in. He stood out in the crowd for his presence alone. He offered a birthday gift to Kingsu as he entered. The guy is one of the 4 sons of the Wang family, Wang Nianlin. He definitely wants to ask Kingsu out, said the other men who could not compete with him. Kingsu forced herself to smile as wide as she can after seeing Wang Nianlin, whom she did not expect to come that early. She then wondered where might be her cousin now. Wang Nianlin hasn't given his presents yet to the birthday celebrant when another woman barges in between them. She immediately apologizes for being late. She also brought a present with her, and she was very glad to give it to Kingsu, asking her to open it right away. Kingsu did open it right away, and she was shocked to discover what was inside. She could not believe that she really gave her that kind of thing. Behind Wang Nianlin, people said that her gift was a very valuable gift and it is an antique. They also thought that no one can beat her gift. He was offended by her for having a nicer gift than him, but he said that he wasn't competing with women. He just needs to outshine the guys there. All of a sudden, he started a very formal speech asking Miss Kingsu to be his girlfriend on her special day. He even knelt down while asking her that. Kingsu was hesitant to accept his offer, and she felt uneasy for the attention he drove for the two of them. The women in the crowd cheered for them. They were forcing Kingsu to accept his offer since it is so romantic. Wang Nianlin smirked, thinking that Kingsu will definitely accept his offer because she will not dare to embarrass everyone. All of a sudden, Summer came inside, catching everyone's attention as he shouted his apology for being so late. Finally, he's here, Kingsu said after making a sigh of relief. She then introduced her cousin, Summer, to everyone as her boyfriend. Wang Nianlin gazed at them from a distance. He noticed Summer's clothes, which are full of dirt at that moment, which also means that he doesn't have a car. Wang Nianlin wanted to humiliate Summer by saying that he came there empty-handed. However, Kingsu told him that she was already happy just seeing him come. Summer interfered. He asked Kingsu if she really thought that he would really come there without bringing a gift. He then brought out the thing he acquired from competing with Master Zhu in the market. Kingsu immediately recognized that it was a blood jade stone, a priceless treasure. She asked him where did he get it. Summer then indirectly humiliated Wang Nianlin back by saying that it is not some cheap thing that anyone can buy from a store. However, Kingsu refuses to believe that he just gets it using his money. She thinks that she might have done something bad just to get it. But Summer has something else aside from the blood jade stone. He then asked Kingsu to follow him. He brought her in front of a door. Then he asked her to open it to see it for herself. Kingsu wondered what would be behind the door since she knew exactly what is normally there, which is just a hall. When she opened the door, rose petals started to fall down the hall, which created a very romantic ambience like in movies. The room behind the door was elegantly designed. It even has chandeliers hanging on the ceiling. Along with the falling rose petals, the people there warm-heartedly greeted Kingsu with a happy birthday. Summer then told her that he let them do a setup there since there was no room at their home. But that is not all. There is also a fireworks display happening outside. There is also an LED light saying "I love you" on the facade of the building. Kingsu's heart melted because of what Summer did for her. Unfortunately, he was not her real boyfriend. She then pinched her face and reminded herself to stop thinking things because he is her cousin. All of those things became possible because of Master Zhu's help. Summer did not expect that he will do so much. The night is getting deeper when the party is finally over. A fine car was parked outside the building where the party took place. It then leaves after they all get inside the car. Master Zhu was the one driving. Kingsu then thanked him for everything he had done for her birthday party. However, he told her that the blood jade stone was not his possession, but, indeed, her cousin's. He also told her that Summer got it using his skills from the antique store. Kingsu was surprised by that fact. She then thought about how her cousin knew how to appraise treasures in the first place. Seeing that his cousin was in deep thinking, he told her that he was just lucky that is how he got it. While driving on the road, they came across a normal van, but it caught Summer's attention. It was her, he said, as if he really saw the woman and the little girl inside the van. He then asked Master Zhu to follow that van. Master Zhu doesn't really know why, but he immediately followed Summer's instruction even though he wasn't sure of what is happening. Kingsu asked her cousin what happened and why does he want to follow that van. Everyone was worried, especially when he asked them to call the police anonymously in a safe place and tell them that Zhang and her daughter have been kidnapped. Eventually, the van parked in a very dark area. Summer was right. Zhang and her daughter were kidnapped by some bad guys. All of a sudden, a man pushed Zhang so she crashed on the floor with her daughter. When she got up, she told the guys that she knows who sent them, the people who want to take over her share in the company. The bald guy smirked and asked her to shut up if she already knew it because they will film her and leave his brother by to have some leverage on her. Her daughter cried and reached for her when she was taken by the other guys. Zhang then begged the guys to not hurt her daughter. She also cried and prayed for someone to save them from those bad guys. All of a sudden, Summer came inside the warehouse and told the guys to surrender right now since the police will be there very soon. The bald guys turned around to see who dared to mess with them. The other guys then rushed towards Summer to attack him. But as expected, Summer just beat them all up in a matter of few seconds. Since his goons are already knocked out, the bald guy doesn't have any other choice but to face Summer himself, so he left Zhang with her daughter there for a moment. However, he changes his mind knowing that the mission has already failed. He then aimed his gun at Zhang. Eventually, he fired the gun at her. Zhang was so shocked. It all happened so quickly, but she wasn't hurt even after hearing the gunshot. That is because Summer took the bullet to keep them from being hurt. Zhang could not do anything but shout out of shock because of what Summer did for them. Summer was hit on the left side of his stomach. The bald guy who fired the gun smirked once again after Summer took the bullet, saying he deserves it for acting like a hero. Summer fell down on the ground when the bald guy told Zhang that they should go back now to their business. But before he even got too close to her, Summer already managed to get up. He then attacked the guy from the back without him noticing. The bald guy crashed on the ground after Summer pushed him. Zhang tears fell down her eyes eventually as she thanked Summer, who is currently spitting blood due to being shot. Now that he has taken care of the bad guys, he invited Zhang to immediately get out of the place. Zhang was worried about Summer, and so she asked him to call an ambulance and get some proper help. However, Summer refused to call an ambulance because he said he couldn't. And since his house was just near, he suggested going there instead. The night is dark, but the moon shines just enough to see in the dark when they got to Summer's house. He took off his shirt, which is soaked with his own blood, as soon as he gets home. Zhang then gets the tools needed for giving first aid. She even managed to get the bullet out of his body, and then covered him with a bandage. Summer looked up when she finished tying the bandage. He thought that he might just become a lab rat if he goes to a hospital since his body has changed so much. Everything seems fine now after all. All of a sudden, Zhang noticed a thing shining inside Summer's pocket. Because of curiosity, she then put her hand inside his pocket to get the thing out. Turns out, it is some kind of stone, but it shines so much All of a sudden, it became too hot to touch, so Zhang Ru lost her grip on it, then it fell down. It landed exactly on Summer's wound. It stayed there as if there was some force that held it in place. Then after some time, the wound is magically gone. Zhang Ru's eyes circled out of shock. She could not believe how is that possible. Her daughter then came inside the room to ask how her big brother, Summer, is feeling now. Zhang Ru answered for him. She told her daughter that he was just fine, but they must let him rest for some time. While taking a rest, Summer felt a strange feeling inside him. It feels like something was inside him all this time that is giving him all those unbelievable abilities. He wasn't sure about it, but the feeling seems real. Suddenly, he wakes up. He then questions himself if that was just a dream. However, when he checked his wound, it is really gone. He took the stone again and wondered if it has something to do with the vanishing of his wound that fast. He then admitted again to himself that a lot has been going on lately, and his normal life has become different now. He put his uniform on while he recalled all the strange things that has happened. First, the necklace, then the Tai Chi master, and just last night, the ancient antiques. But that's not all. There are even assassinations behind him now. When he opened the door, Quicksand was there. They then threatened him again about the scroll since Summer has not started finding it yet. The person speaking then told him that he now only has today to get it. If he can't find it within the day, then he should die instead. However, Summer just smirked and scratched the back of his head because he really has no idea what he should find. So how will he find it? But the Quicksand doesn't believe it. They thought that Summer was determined to go against them. Summer then wondered what he should do that time. He has eyes that see through things, but he cannot see through their movements. He wondered if he will really die that day. Meanwhile, a man in traditional clothes was observing them from a tree outside Summer's house. His hair is long and he even has a sword. Quicksand and Summer stood there for a few minutes as if they are trying to scare each other. Eventually, Quicksand lifted his arm and aims to punch Summer. Fortunately, Summer managed to dodge the attack. But Quicksand wasn't done yet. He attacked him a few times more after he dodged the first one. Summer tried his best to focus on his attacks so that he will not be hit. As expected, he stopped one of his attacks by grabbing him by the hand. Quicksand was about to punch him using his other hand, but Summer pulled him up first, then he threw him away. It was Fan Lao Tai Shi technique, Quicksand said. He then wondered how was he able to learn that kind of love. One thing is for sure, he has to finish Summer now or it would be a problem if he will drag this out too long. Out of nowhere, someone threw a kettle at Quicksand as he rushes towards Summer. It was Zhang Ru who threw it. She was also holding a flat iron at that moment. She raised the flat iron up and warned the person who was attacking Summer to get out of there immediately, or else she will throw the flat iron at him. Summer was worried about Zhang Ru even if she just wants to help. He asked her to go inside immediately. However, Zhang Ru refuses because he already saved them many times and so she will not let him be hurt. Summer just sighed hearing those words come out from her mouth. And because of the courage she showed, Summer realizes that he also cannot back down either. Quicksand was getting bored watching them. He asked them why are they still flirting when they are about to die. All of a sudden someone landed behind Quicksand. He was the man observing them from afar earlier. His name is Jian Yuanhong. Quicksand immediately recognized who was he. He was the world's #1 sword master. Jian Yuanhong then brought his sword out then slashed some persons of the Quicksand. He then ordered Quicksand to take the bodies with them, which they immediately followed. After they get away, he speaks with Summer and he asked if he was really Xia Tian. He answered him that he is, indeed, Xia Tian. He noticed the speed of the man in front of him. He didn't even notice him move. Jian Yuanhong told him that he looked like him and they both have the same courage. Summer asked if he was talking about his father. Jian Yuanhong did not answer him. Instead, he asked Summer to crush the jewel in his necklace. Summer asked why would break it because it is his mother's legacy. Jian Yuanhong then told him not to worry because the jewel wasn't his mother's legacy, but the thing inside it. But still, he doesn't know if it is possible for him to crush a jewel with his bare hands. Nevertheless, he tried doing it and fortunately, it broke. He was so shocked that he actually done it. When he opened his hand to check what was inside the jewel, he saw a tiny scroll. That might be the scroll Quicksand wanted him to find. Xia Tian gazed into the scroll and he realized that it was the scroll those people were asking him to find. It was inside the necklace. The man told him that his father put it in the necklace and told him it was his mother's legacy only because he wanted him to take care of it. Since the man has already mentioned his father a lot of times, he then took the opportunity to ask him what kind of person was he. Knowing that his father wanted his son to live an ordinary life, he decided to tell him nothing about his father other than being a great man. However, it seems like it is already late for Xia Tian to have an ordinary life since a lot of strange things has happened to his life already. The man then answered him that that is why he came. He actually wanted Xia Tian to be his apprentice. All of a sudden, Xia Tian knelt down and gave the man, whom he addressed as master that moment, a proper greeting. Before the master left, he reminded Xia Tian that there are only 6 days before the college examination. His father wanted him to take it, so he has to prepare for it. Zhang Ru helped Xia Tian to get up when she saw him on the ground. This is a great day for Xia Tian, now that he already has a master who will train him to make his skills even better. That morning at school, Fire Pepper rushed to Xia Tian, whom she was calling as master. She still is begging him to teach her martial arts. However, Xia Tian doesn't want to teach her anything. Actually, he is going to have a lesson also with his own master. In that instant, Fire Pepper became furious because Xia Tian once mentioned that he will teach his wife, and she was ready to be his wife. But Xia Tian told her it is not going to happen since she wasn't his type. She then asked him what type of girl does he want. He then told her that he likes a girl who, at least, not dressing like a delinquent like her. Her sisters tried to calm her down when they saw her become angrier at Xia Tian. Eager to be Xia Tian's type, she told him that she will now change how she dresses. After dealing with those fiery girls, Xia Tian went straight to the school cafeteria. There, his cousin and her friend were seated at one table. King Zhu then tried to catch his attention as soon as he enters. He walked toward the 2 girls and then he took his seat in front of them. King Zhu immediately opened up the topic about what happened last night. She told him that she was so scared yesterday. Xia Tian just smiled at them, saying that they should not worry about a thing because it's already fine now and he has already called Mr. Zhu. But he did not call him to say thanks. The one who is actually grateful was Mr. Zhu, since Xia Tian agreed to enter a tournament for him. Then he sips the coke in front of him. King Zhu's friend immediately grabbed the coke from him even if he was sipping it since it was hers. Eventually, King Zhu told him that she needs him to do something for her. Xia Tian told her why was she so polite. As a result, King Zhu changes her manner. Instead of asking, she now orders him to do something. After hearing what the usual King Zhu would say, Xia Tian teased her, saying that that is just exactly how she treats him every day. King Zhu then told him that she needs him to play the basketball game with the arts department today. All of a sudden, King Zhu looked up as if she saw something. Turns out, there were other students. They then teased King Zhu for getting outside help. They were the team that Xia Tian has to deal with. The girl then talked to King Zhu. She told her that she once heard that the art department is full of weak and pathetic men who don't want to play for her. Meanwhile, Xia Tian was so busy staring at the girl's body. After he commended her for having a fine body, he asked her to be his wife. The girl got furious, just exactly how he wanted her to be. Then she told her that it is better for King Zhu to concede defeat rather than to ask a boy like Xia Tian to play for her. Because of that, King Zhu told her that she has no business with her team. All that she has to remember was their bet to call her sister for life when she wins. On the other hand, she also reminded King Zhu of the same thing when she wins. Xia Tian sips the coke again and thinks that their bet is so childish. They are not even that far apart in their age. He then asked the girl if she can make a bet with her too, just to spice things up. The girl asked him what bet does he want then. He told her that if she loses the game, she will have to be his little wife and she has to call him her big husband whenever she sees him. Because of that, the girl got angrier and so she lifted his foot and tried to kick Xia Tian. Luckily, Xia Tian grabbed her foot and raised it just before hitting him. Because of what Xia Tian did, the girl got so embarrassed. King Zhu then slaps him on his face for doing it. Unexpectedly, the girl accepted the bet. But, in return, he has to run around the school if he loses. Eventually, they then left them to have their meal there at the cafeteria. As soon as they left, King Zhu beat her cousin up for asking her sworn enemy to be his wife. At last, the day of the competition has finally come. King Zhu's enemy told her that she will only send one first-tier player, and the rest will be second-tier, so she cannot say she was bullying her. On the other hand, Xia Tian noticed that their team was not even complete. Actually, King Zhu was waiting for the other player to arrive. And right at that moment when Xia Tian was worrying about the players who will complete the team, they finally came. To complete the team, King Zhu asked other outsiders to play for her team, namely Tiger Peng and Yan Zhu. All of a sudden, they heard a group of loud girls behind them. The girls were cheering for a player named Fang Lai. King Zhu wondered if they were talking about the Fang Lai she knows. Turn out they were indeed referring to that Fang Lai. He is a popular and handsome basketball player. He will also be the enemy's starter. After noticing that Fang Lai was acting so narcissistic, King Zhu's enemy immediately dragged him out of the crowd by his ears. On the other hand, there was no one cheering for Xia Tian's team. But that is not a problem anymore, since King Zhu's friend came in a full cheerleader outfit and volunteered herself to do the cheering. Now that everything is set, they then started the basketball game. Yanzu, Xia Tian's teammate, was having trouble passing the ball because an enemy was blocking him. Tiger Pan was also having a difficult time dealing with the players who are blocking him. Eventually, they all figure out a way in order to pass the ball and go for a score. Yanzu saw that Xia Tian is free to get the ball. However, when he was about to pass him the ball, someone stole it from his grip. It was Fang Lai. His movements were so swift that Yanzu didn't even notice him. On the other hand, Xia Tian started to get a little bit anxious because Yanzu still cannot pass him the ball as he should. It was already halftime, yet Xia Tian's team's score is 0 while the opponent's score was already 40. While having a break, Yanzu started complaining why about them professional players having to play along with some amateur teammates. However, his teammates told him that he already knew about the situation, so he doesn't have to act like he just knew about it now. He then asked him why is he complaining now. Nevertheless, Yanzu decided to stop playing with them anymore. He thinks that there is no way to beat the opposing team with them in the team. King Zhu noticed that the players were having a disagreement, and so she became worried because there would not be enough people if the other player will quit. Yanzu thinks that he will reconsider quitting the team if King Zhu and her friend will come over and beg him to stay. Meanwhile, Xia Tian spoke with the other boys in the art department. He asked them if there is anyone who wanted to play with them. Unlike Yanzu, Xia Tian still believes that they can beat the opposing team with his skills in basketball. Yanzu then bet Xia Tian that he will bark like a dog if he would be able to score as much as the other team did. The second half was about to start. Luckily, Xia Tian successfully recruited 2 new players to complete his team. Still, the 2 professional players were bitter. They truly believed that Xia Tian and his team would not be able to win since they are all amateurs. Fang Lai thinks that Xia Tian's team will not even get the ball since they are fighting with themselves this time. Finally, the second half of the game started. This time, Xia Tian got the ball and aims to shoot it even though he was still a little bit far from the ring. The crowd could not believe that Xia Tian will truly shoot the ball from where he is right now. And eventually, he jumped off the ground and then threw the ball toward the ring. Audience's hearts started to pound faster as they watched the nears the ring. And finally, a score for Xia Tian's team. It was a one-of-a-kind shot, said the crowd. Now the score went up from 40-0 to 43. Xia Tian also mentioned that he was just getting started. Meanwhile, his cousin and her friend were still shocked after seeing his shot. The game continues and Xia Tian keeps on getting better. He was now able to fake the professional players on the other team. At this moment, it seems like Xia Tian has completely dominated the game. He never missed a shot, and he even dared to do some slam dunks during the game. Miraculously, the game ended with a score of 40 and 101 in favor of Xia Tian's team. Xia Tian also gained a lot of new supporters after showing off a very great skill in basketball. Everyone cheered for Xia Tian and his team for winning the basketball game. On the other hand, the professional basketball players who left their team were bitter about it, and so they decided to just ignore him and go. However, Xia Tian did not forget about the deal they made. They now have to bark like a dog, as they said. But Yanzu wasn't considering it as a win. He believes that Xia Tian just got lucky. He then asked him to have another competition, and this time he will bark like a dog if Xia Tian still win. It seems like he was scaring Xia Tian, but he wasn't easily swayed by his word. Xia Tian told him that he can come at him anytime since he isn't afraid of him at all. Meanwhile, King Zhu's enemy considered pulling Xia Tian into their team after showing great skill during the game. But she had second thoughts when she remembered their deal that she has to call him Big Husband if they win. She just could not call him that. As soon as she approached Xia Tian, he immediately reminded her of their deal, but King Zhu stopped him and just told her that she just has to abide with their deal. However, the girl made it clear to them that she will do as was agreed because she is not the kind of person who doesn't keep her promise. She then gathered all the courage she has left and shouted the words Big Husband for Xia Tian and then run so fast. However, Xia Tian wondered why does she have to shout it like that. King Zhu thinks that she sounded just as she was calling her husband also. Xia Tian gets back to his home after the game. He told himself that the things he does are not as important anymore. He then thinks of what is important at the moment. But before he even comes up with an idea, he noticed that someone is there with him. It is the master. He then gave him a proper greeting as soon as he saw him. Master told him that his father never mentioned anything about martial arts because he doesn't want it for his son. But since he already stopped it, he will just keep his promise to his father. To teach him. That exact day, the master will teach him the Wandering Cloud Immortal Step and the One Finger of God. One Finger of God was familiar to him, but he only saw that move on TV. And so he wondered if he really have that kind of kung fu. The master answered his yes. He also mentioned that those are the techniques that his father was famous for back in the day. With that in mind, Xia Tian then infers that his father must have been a great master like him too. He asked this just to dig something about his father. Actually, the master never practiced the two kung fu himself, but he will teach Xia Tian the method on how to do it. The master successfully changed the topic about his father, but Xia Tian planned on finding another chance to get something out from him. Master then explained to him all about the Wandering Cloud Immortal technique, which is from the Book of Yin, and the One Finger of God, which focus on a single point attack. He then remembered that his father once taught him these things, including the Book of Martial Techniques and the acupuncture points on the human body. During those times, he thought that it was just his father's hobby, but in reality, it was the foundation laid for him from then on. The master then told him that he has the best talent he has ever seen, and because of that, he believes that he might be able to carry on his father's martial arts legacy.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Leave a comment for the next part, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.